So today I'm talking to Rubina Khan, who comes to Japan from Bangladesh, and she's the General Secretary of the Bangladesh English Teachers Association. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's okay. I really enjoyed your talk yesterday. But first of all, can you tell us a bit about the context, the educational and the language context in Bangladesh?
Okay. The education system in Bangladesh is after the British system of education, and we have three levels: the primary, the secondary, and the higher secondary. The primary level, and after that we've got the secondary and the higher secondary and the tertiary level. Students study for 10 years before they can move on to the higher secondary, and the medium of instruction is Bengali in the public schools and the national schools and in the rural areas, where all the subjects are taught in Bangla, but English is retained as a compulsory subject. It's a compulsory subject on the curriculum, and after 10 years of study, students are required to sit for their first public national exam, which is the SSC, which is secondary school certificate. And when they qualify in that exam, they move on to the higher secondary level, which is equivalent to the college level, grades 11 and 12. And after completing grades 11 and 12, they have to sit for another exam, which is called the HSC, which is higher secondary level examination. And when they qualify in these two, the results of these two examinations are kind of prerequisite to set for the university entrance test. And when they qualify in that, they can enroll into the university or do a 2-year BA course under Open University. And talking about classroom contexts, we have large classes, and the classes will range from 100 to 150, in some cases 180. And usually you have 45 minutes long periods, even at the university, starting from school. And the only resource available is the textbook.
Right.
And teachers do not have access to photocopiers to photocopy extra material to use in the classes. And
is there much technology?
Well, in the rural areas, in the metropolis to some extent, yes. In the private schools, I wanted to mention that we've got English medium schools side by side with the Bangla medium state-run schools, where the elite can only afford to send their children there.
Right.
And there is a bit of technology over there. They have computer classes, a computer lab, but in the public sector, very few schools will have computers. Some of the top schools in the metropolis will have. And there is an awareness about using technology and technology-enhanced classes. So the government is working it's not that the government is not aware, but due to scanty resources, it's difficult to provide computers in the the rural areas.
And the majority language is Bangla?
Yeah, that's the main language. The L1 is Bangla, native language.
Are most people monolingual? Are there other languages or regional dialects?
There are regional dialects and indigenous dialects, yes, but mostly it's...
So most people would communicate at home
in Bengali, yeah.
Bengali.
But there are dialects, yes.
Okay, I see. Okay, so now on to Belter. So it was formed in 1984.
Yes.
Hibernated a little bit, but
yes.
In the last 10 years or so, it's becoming a lot stronger again.
Exactly. So it was revived. It went into, like I said, a long stage of hibernation, and then it was revived in 2003 September, and ever since then, it's been a very visible platform for practitioners, teachers of English, and intending practitioners of English.
Okay. What are your key areas that you focus on?
Teacher development and teacher education is a major focus. So Belter has a twofold mission, and the first is providing opportunities for in-service training to teachers, and of course providing them with a platform where they can come forward and share their concerns and discuss issues which relate to language teaching and learning in the country.
One of the things that I was very interested with was you've made a lot of links with other organisations, especially the Hornby regional schools. Sound very interesting.
Yeah, that was very interesting. This took place in December 2011, and 7 teachers associations were invited to join the Hornby program, and the idea was to share best practices and strengthen teacher associations. So the schools which attended were SPELT, Society for Pakistan English Language Teachers Association. Then we had teachers from Afghanistan. We had teachers from India, which is ELTAI, and Iran, and NELTA, and Bangladesh, and SLELTA, which is Sri Lankan Teachers Association.
So all of South Asia.
South Asia, right. And the idea was to share, we had input sessions from George Pickering, who is an ELT consultant and a coach, and he was the one who was facilitating the workshop, and he shared important issues about running associations, and then all of us had to share what we were doing in our respective associations and how we could make the connections better and how we could learn from each other. So there was a post-conference project, a workshop project which we had to do, where we promised to be at each other conferences, and the offshoot was a peer support review where we would go and visit a partner or the TAs who participated in the Hornby school, and peer review their conference, how they were doing, and give feedback to each other. So we've been to Sri Lanka, Belter members have been to Sri Lanka, and then also this moved on to Chennai after the Hornby school.
Actually, that was something I noticed, that it looks as though the Belter conference is quite a big conference, and you had a very impressive lineup of speakers.
Yes, we did in the last conference.
What I really liked was not just the British and the American and the Australian, but you also had plenary speakers from Pakistan and other
areas,
local areas. Yeah. So I guess that's part of the links you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We always make sure that members from our teacher associations are part of the program, and we've signed memorandum of understanding with NELTA. So members, when they come to our conference, we give them a registration waiver and we give them subsidized accommodation. And when we go to their conferences, we have similar treatment there.
The difficulty, I suppose, is that Bangladesh is a very big country, so if you're in the metropolis, that's easier to get to, but how do you get out to the people who are in the regions? It's kind of grassroots teachers.
Okay, we have formed chapters, and that is a big success story, because currently Belter has 10 chapters, and we are committed to move out to the regions, and our outreach programs are very strong. So when we have educators coming over to do seminars in Dhaka, we request them if they could carry the same program to our regions. So we take turns to take them there, and they go to our different chapters to do the similar program. And when we have conferences, the British Council supports us, and they provide travel allowances so that our members from the regions and remote areas can come and participate. And what Belter does, as you know, we are a non-profit association, we do not have a lot of funds. Still, whatever funds we have, we try to give members from the regions a waiver. So in this way, we try to encourage them to participate in the conferences and the programs we have.
Yes, it sounds like an association with quite a strong social conscience. Actually, you mentioned, going to help people who've had natural disasters and so on.
Yes, we believe in that. That's also part of our mission. So we come forward with whatever little resources we have, but we want to kind of make a small contribution to the society. And
you also mentioned that some advocacy issues that you're working on. Maybe something that a lot of teachers in Japan would have some sympathy with, the kind of entrance examination hell, we call it here.
Yes, yeah.
Please tell
Yes,
us.
this is one of our main issues, the advocacy program. We've done a couple in the past, but currently we are working on kind of raising awareness about assessment problems we have, and we want to examine the state of assessment in Bangladesh, because research has shown that there's a big gap between curriculum objectives and the main test. So we are really kind of doing elaborate research, joint research with other projects to see how best we can bridge the gap, because this is a big problem. Because if curriculum objectives are not aligned with the test, what happens is, there's negative backwash, and students are not happy with the test, and we want to revise the test. So we want to work with the government, and we want to make suggestions about how best we can revamp the test, so that all stakeholders are involved and students do not suffer, because students are complaining about the test, and so are teachers. And most of the teachers in Bangladesh, we kind of survive, or we live in a very exam oriented culture where everything is focused on the test, because students study in order to pass the test and not to develop the proficiency level. So we want to really create awareness. At the metropolis, we are aware of this situation, because most of the teachers have the opportunity to go abroad, and they are well versed with the assessment literacy programs, and but in the regions we really have to move on and make the teachers who are working in the regions aware about assessment related theories, and how best to tackle test design and assessment literacy. So this is not going to be a one-off thing. There will be a series of programs which Belta wants to work on, and move this issue to the regions.
This is your research area, right?
This is my research area also. Yeah, testing and evaluation has been my forte.
Yes. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to ask you about was Jolt has a Teachers Helping Teachers program, and one of the countries they go to is Bangladesh. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, in fact, this is one of our best programs which Belta has to offer to its teaching community. And since 2005, when Bill Balsamo was alive, he was the leader, and he led several teams to Bangladesh. He inspired a number of teacher educators who went to Bangladesh to conduct 5-day-long, 6-day-long seminars on teacher education, and the title of the seminars was Strategies for the ESL Classroom. And this was very well received, and Bangladeshi teachers benefited a lot. And since his demise, Dr. Patrick Doughty has been holding the flag, and he has led several teams of teacher educators to Bangladesh, and almost every year. So they teacher educators from from THT, which is a SIG of Jolt, they've gone to Bangladesh. I think this has been their 8th time this year. They were there in September, and they've basically had sessions on classroom teaching activities and strategies, the 4 skills, and teachers have got a lot of substantial material out of their programs, and they were extremely well received, and the feedback we've had is extremely positive. And the moment one seminar ends, teachers come up and say, when is the next seminar? And they said they've been able to use the strategies they've learned on the seminar in the real classrooms, and the students have benefited immensely. So this is a big success story for Belta, and we're very proud to have the Joel team, the THT team with us. And one thing remarkable which we talk about THT is the THT educators are they self-fund their trip, and they pay through their own accommodation, and they provide service to Belta free of cost, and we are indebted to THT for their contribution to Belta. And so far they have provided teacher training to 1,100 teachers.
Well, it sounds as though Belta itself is also full of very committed volunteers, and it sounds like an organisation that's going from strength to strength. So we wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.